Yeah, what's up, man? This is Boxing Combo with the morning results. I couldn't get them out last night, didn't have enough time. But this morning I got up early. You know, I always get up early anyway, so I decided to do a quick video on the results for those who didn't get to see the fight. Like myself, you know, I wish someone had done the Caral Froch fight, which I did not get to see. No one did a result video on that, but I found some info on it anyway. And Caral Froch won by unanimous decision over Arthur Abraham. That was last night on Showtime. Honestly, I thought if it would have went to a decision that fight, I thought Abraham would have had the upper hand, but apparently it was not that way. Caral Froch, he's my favorite of the two anyway. Caral Froch won unanimous decision, now has that title. Anyway, moving on to HBO, Celistino Caballero versus Jason Litzau. I remember Jason from when he fought like at 118, I think, 122. He's a pretty brave brawler type fighter, but not expected in any way to win this fight. So Celistino Caballero, you know, no enemy is small, Caballero. So, you know, you need to train and study each and every opponent you're going to get in the ring with, man. This is not a basketball game where you lose today, you play tomorrow, and you win tomorrow, and whatever. Boxing, you know, every fight counts. And Celistino Caballero was looking sluggish, and he lost. You know, Celistino Caballero was talking about fighting Juan Manuel Marquez, and he loses his fight. Jason won a split decision win over Celistino Caballero. So now Jason Litzau is in the big names with the Juan Manuel Marquez, the Camboa, and Rojas and Chris John. And I'm telling you, this guy, Jason Litzau, is tailor-made for Juan Ma and for Camboa. So Jason, you know, much props. It was a good fight. I would have gave it a draw because it wasn't like he, you know, I think when they went to the score box, Caballero had landed more punches, more power punches. He threw more punches and landed more punches. So I think they could have gave it a draw, but they probably saw how aggressive Jason was looking, and Caballero, you know, with that ugly style that he has, you know, did not look impressive. But you know, it could have been a draw. But still, much props, much respect to Mr. Jason Litzau, who won last night, a split decision win over Celistino Caballero. Moving on to the Berto versus Freddy Hernandez. Freddy Hernandez has 29 fights, 1 loss, 20 knockouts, I believe. I had seen him fight once versus that guy, what's his name? Curly, you know, that guy who fought Cotto here in Puerto Rico a couple years back. Curly, who fought also Mayweather. He's fought in everyone out there, really. Anyway, Freddy Hernandez, they call him Mr. Lollipop Kid. He came in with a lollipop in his mouth, and Berto had you know, it was in the first round. The fight starts. I thought this, you know, Freddy Hernandez could last a couple rounds, and you know, he has that Mexican style fighting where Mexican fighters are known to have great stamina and fight for 12 rounds, but this was not the case, man. Berto, you know, played around with his left hand a little bit, and Freddy Hernandez put his hands up, but Berto threw that left hook, came back like all the way. He went down a little bit with his arm like this. He came up like a bazooka punch, man. And the punch went right through Freddy Hernandez's guard in the jaw. Probably almost ripped his head off. And Freddy Hernandez went down to the mat, got up. He was still dizzy. He was still dazed. And the referee stopped it. I think it was a good stoppage. And it was a very, very impressive knockout for Berto, who needed that. Berto needed that knockout in an impressive fashion to get his name up there with the big welterweights, you know, or at least if he wants to move up to 154, stay at welterweight, whatever. But he needed that knockout, and honestly, he looked great. He looked impressive, and the knockout was awesome. And the way he set it up, it was awesome. So Berto did his thing last night. Anyway, moving on to the main event: Juan Manuel Marquez versus Michael Caceres. That's the guy from Greek. Well, it was a good fight, man. It was a very good fight. In the third round, Caceres caught Juan Manuel with a real short left hook, and he threw Juan Manuel to the mat. Juan Manuel got up. He was a bit dazed, but, you know, the warrior that he is, he fought through it. He actually got the best, towards the end of the round, got the best of Caceres, but Caceres did win that round. But then from then on, man, it was Juan Marquez all the way. Marquez did his thing, and in the 9th round, they stopped the fight, and I won. I think it was $10. I had bet somebody. I think it was my cousin. I had bet that Marquez was going to win by the 9th round. Why did I think that? Because I don't think the stamina of Cassidy is all that great, especially when you're in that type of an action fight where you're throwing so many punches. And I've seen Juan Manuel Marquez get thrown to the mat before and get back up and still win the fight by decision or by stoppage. So I thought, you know, it was going to be close to a 9th round stoppage for Juan Manuel Marquez, and it ended up being that way, and it was a good fight, a very good fight. I heard some fights on Fox Deportes, but man, there was just too much boxing last night. I couldn't get to everything. But it was a good night for boxing fans, and that Juan Manuel Marquez fight versus Cassidy. Cassidy did perform good, though. I think Cassidy performed better than I've ever seen him perform. You know, he was using his defense very well. He was getting off some very good punches. Just a very good fight. Very exciting fight. One thing that I wanted to point out that Cassidy, every time he threw these little hooks, he would kind of pop the punch and his elbow would come up. You know, he was doing something like this the whole time. I'm thinking, I don't know why the referee didn't, you know, warn him about that, because that punch could easily go up and it could end up being an elbow to Juan Manuel Marquez's forehead. You know, and that's going to be a nasty gash on Juan Manuel Marquez's forehead at 37. You know, that's not a good gash to have on your forehead. So I don't know why the referee didn't say anything to Cassidy throwing those type of punches like that, almost close to hitting Marquez with an elbow. And he did it a lot of times, but still, it was a good fight. Like I said, man, it was about 5 people here, and we were watching that fight, standing up in the living room, just whoa, you know, because it was a very good fight. But Marquez did get the best of him for pretty much all the rounds. So man, that's my result vids on that. Like I said, Juan Manuel Marquez won by stoppage in the 9th round and took Michael Cassidy's title. Andre Berto won in an impressive knockout. Andre Berto knocked Freddy Hernandez out in the 2nd round. Celistino Caballero lost to Jason Litzau by split decision, and Caral Froch defeated by unanimous decision. Caral Froch defeated Arthur Abraham. So those are the results. A quick vid for those cats who didn't get a chance to watch it. And I hope some other cats start doing some result vids, because sometimes, you know, I can't catch a fight. I would love to know who won. Like this morning, I was just, you know, going crazy about the Caral Froch and Arthur Abraham. I wanted to know who won that fight. And I found this page, man. I should have wrote down the name so I could say it here. I don't know if it was Fight News or, you know, I'll give them a shout out on the next vid. You know, my bad, I didn't write the name down. So, you know, much props. Let's see what we got next. I think, oh, the Maidana fight. That's gonna be awesome. Where Amir Khan, I always get that name wrong, and the Victor Ortiz with Lamont Peterson. And I still can't wait for that Timothy Bradley Alexander fight. That's going to be an awesome fight, man. I can't wait for that fight. So a lot of great fights coming up now in December. So boxing right now is doing very good. So and last night it was awesome. HBO gave us 3 fights, so that was very good. All right, peace, bro.